Well, good day and welcome back to all of our internet friends, family, and following. Wow, isn't that gorgeous? That's absolutely gorgeous. If you're new to our trainings, we'd like to start all of our trainings off with something nice and picturesque, designed to get you to dream again. We are in the Amalfi Coast today for our quick mental vacation break, so go on and soak that up. Okay, so our system, 3 to 5 years, is developed or designed, I should say, to get you completely and totally and utterly financially free. When? Not in the next 3 to 5 days, not in the next 3 to 5 weeks. We wish we could say that, but that would be disingenuous. But over the next 3 to 5 years, again, we want to get you completely and utterly and totally financially free. So let's go to work in today's training, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in our last training segment, we talked about Robert Kiyosaki, his cash flow quadrant. The reason that most people struggle is because they live on the wrong side of the quadrant. They lived on the left-hand side of the quadrant. They are either an employee, we're never going to foo-fooey on your job, or they're self-employed, in which case they own a job. And where we really want to be is on the right-hand side of the quadrant. Now, for years, we thought that the work-at-home space, the work-at-home niche, network marketing, MLM, affiliate marketing, so on and so forth, that was the best route for the average person to take. After 20, now we're going on a quarter century now being in that space. We've developed 6, 7-figure businesses, 6 businesses that generated $1 million or more in revenue on an annual basis. But boy, we've hit our head up against the bricks, up against the brick wall. We've had an income stream over 20 grand a month with one company in the network marketing space, and then the next month the check didn't come. And then we got to $90,000 a month with another company in that space, and the next month the check didn't come. And then we got to over $100,000, not a year, but a month. My gosh. And then something happened with the company and the check didn't come the next month. So we no longer believe that that is the vehicle for the average person. Now, we're not going to foo-fooey on that space. But I've got to tell you, after a quarter of a century now, I'm just flat out tired of promoting a company, and then it goes away and what have you. What we really believe is that we all have the potential to become investors. And that's what Kiyosaki talks about. That's really where we want to be, where our money's making money for us. Most of us, we labor really hard for the money. It's time to get the money laboring hard for us. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's training. You've probably heard the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, we believe the money for most people, is broke. I know that's bad grammar, bad English, is broken, but it's broke. So let's talk about our aim to fix it. All right? Okay. Now, becoming an investor. The challenge with being an investor from a traditional standpoint, okay, and getting to that point where your money is making the money for you, where, whatever your pot of money makes allows you to live an enjoyable and a comfortable life, so you no longer have to be the one laboring, okay? The challenge is you either already have to have a lot of money in traditional investing, or you have to have a lot of time. And if you're short on either one of those, it makes it almost impossible for traditional investing to work for you. Now, this is what we mean, all right? Here's a traditional investing, some examples. Let's say you've got $10,000 or euros or Great British pounds or Australian dollars or whatever, okay? And you're getting more of a traditional annual type of return, okay, like you would expect in traditional investments. Let's call it 10%, okay? Well, that's $1,000 a year. And we're not going to foo-fooey on that $1,000 a year, but that doesn't get us to where we want to be. We want to get you to the point where your pot of money makes enough money for you to live an enjoyable and a comfortable life. And so $1,000 a year, if If you broke that down on a monthly basis, that's only $800. No, I'm sorry, that's only $83 a month. No, you can't live on that. Okay. Well, if you had $100,000 generating 10% a year, that's $10,000 a year. Still not enough. $833 a month. You'd have to have a big pot of money. So what we're analyzing is that traditional investing works, but it only works best if you already have a lot of money or you have a lot of time. So in this example, $1 million at 10% a year, €1 million at 10% a year, $1 million Australian dollars, Kiwi dollars, whatever, at 10% gets you $100,000 a year. And most of folks, can probably live at least a decent life off $100,000 a year. But you had to have, in this example, $1 million. Now, if you don't have a lot of money, then you'd better have a lot of time. Now, the rule of 72 is a rule that everyone should know. When we do live webinars, we don't do that many these days because of our scheduling. But when we would do live webinars and we'd ask our audience, hey, how many of you know the rule of 72? Probably about 80% of the folks would say no, they'd never even heard of it. And the other 20% that had heard of it, most of them didn't remember what it said. Vaguely, I remember that, but they couldn't tell us what it said. Only a small, minute percentage of people said, yeah, I know the rule of 72. I understand how it works and why it's so important. The rule of 72 says if you take the number 72, divide that by whatever you're getting on your investment. What are you getting? Is it 6%, 12%, 18%? Right? Whatever you're getting on your money, you take 72, divide it by that, and the answer tells you how long it takes your money to double. So let's say that, let's bump up the return here. Let's say that a person was getting a 12% annual return, okay? And they're 23 and they've got $10,000 in investment capital, don't need to touch it. They're just going to let it ride. They're going to let it compound, okay? Well, 72 divided by 12 is 6. In this example, if you were earning 12% a year, it would take you 6 years for your pot of money to double. Again, this is assuming you don't add anything to it and you're not taking anything away. So your 10 becomes 20, your 20 becomes 40 in another 6 years, and then 80, and then, there we go. All right. And then 160, 320, 640, and 1.28 million. Okay, so we know that if you had $1 million and you had 12%, if you 1.28 million times 12%, you'd be over $144,000. So once again, traditional investing works best when what? Two things are in place. Either you already have a lot of money. In this case, when you got to 65, you had 1.28 million, you could probably live pretty good on $144,000 a year, 12 grand a month, okay? So you had to either already have a lot of money when you got started or you had to have a lot of time. But what if you're short on either one of those? What if you're short on the money? What if you're short on the time? What if you're short on both? Now what? And that's why so many people have turned to the internet looking for ways to compress time frames, looking for ways to generate additional revenue. The problem is most people suck when it comes to selling. Most people suck when it comes to telling. And then many of the investment opportunities that present themselves on the internet are nothing more than scams, okay? So our system was developed from the ground up, understanding that Joe average, Sue average, the average person out there, typically they're not good at the whole selling and telling, recruiting and sponsoring and whatever, marketing. They're not good at most of that. So we wanted to develop a system from the ground up that would allow people to radically compress time frames, to squeeze those time frames so that we can catch up. Because most folks are behind on something. Either they're behind on something like retirement, they're behind on college fund, they're behind on paying off student loans. They've been out of school now for 5 years, 10 years, and they're still paying on those student loans and perhaps not even working in the field of their degree. Behind on being able to help out mom and dad if mom and dad are aging. or what have you. Just behind on stuff, behind on getting out of debt, behind on paying off the mortgage, behind on really hotly pursuing the passions of the heart because you got to work that job, because you got to pay the bills. But every day, your passion, the thing that really drives you, that gives you oxygen, that gives you life. Every day, you're having to move further and further away from your passion because you just got to pay the bills. We want to compress those time frames. So here is our target, ladies and gentlemen, of our system. We can't promise any of this, and we'll make sure that we have our disclaimer king coming on to give you the proper disclaimers for legal reasons, okay? Our system's target is this. We want to generate respectable annual returns. We want to generate respectable annual returns on average on a monthly basis. We want to take a respectable annual return, and instead of getting that annually, we want to be able to get that on a monthly basis. Can we promise that? No, but that's our target. And again, we'll make sure that we have our disclaimer king coming on. More specifically, this is what we're targeting. A net return of 12.5% per month. More specifically, we're targeting an average net return of 12.5% per month. Now, average means that, average. Let's say, for instance, we have a month where we get 30%. That is more than feasible with our traders. Now, remember, we have a 100% hands-free, fully automated trading platform. You'll have an account, should you set up an account with what we're doing in your own name. You'll be able to see every trade, winner or loser. You're never sending us any money. Our portal, if you're watching this in our portal, great. If you're someone has gotten this training to you outside of our portal, you'll want to get our portal from them. It's completely free. There is no monthly subscription. There is no annual subscription. So we may have a month where we have a 30% return. We're leveraging phenomenal Forex traders. They are doing all the trading. They're making all the trade decisions. They're looking at the charts. They're doing all that stuff. You and I don't have to do that, okay? But the next month, we might be down 5%. Are we going to have, is every month going to be a winning month? No. This is why we're not looking at this over a 3 to 5 day or 3 to 5 week or even a 3 to 5 month time frame. We're looking at this over a 3 to 5 year time frame. So if we got 30% one month net and we got 5%, we lost 5% the next month, all right, when you do the math, that's 25% over those 2 months. Guess what? In that case, that would be the average of 12.5% per month. So now look at what could happen if we hit our targets. All right, so if we hit our target of averaging a net of 12.5% per month, and it's not going to happen like that perfectly. Again, we may have one month we're up 30%. We may have another month we're down 5%, okay? Then what this means in terms of compressing time frames is we want to be able to take 1 year's worth of traditional annual type returns and compress that into 1 month. Now, if we can do that over time, then that means we could go, let's say we were able to average over a 12-month period, we were able to average a net of 12.5% per month. That would be like compressing 12 years worth of traditional investment returns into 1 year. And this is what we mean by compressing time frames. If we're able to hit our targets, can't promise that, but that's what we're targeting. And you're going to learn in our trainings, whether you already have our portal. If you don't have our portal, please get our portal. It's free. Why wouldn't you at least pick up the portal and get this information? We don't want to rah-rah you. We don't want to swing around the chandeliers. We want you to understand it as you undertake it. But imagine if we hit our targets over the next 3 years, that would be like compressing 36 years worth of traditional investment returns into a 3-year time frame. How quickly have the last 3 years flown by for you? And what has been the change, if at all, in your financial situation in the last 3 years? We want to compress 36 years into 3 years. If we hit our targets, then in 5 years, we could potentially, maybe, perhaps, all of our disclaimers, and I'll bring on our disclaimer king in just a moment, we could compress 60 years worth of traditional annual investment returns into 5 years. That's what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the system was developed, and that's why it's called 3 to 5 years, not 3 to 5 weeks, not 3 to 5 days, not even 3 to 5 months. 3 to 5 years. Now, what we're going to be doing is we've put together a portal, okay? It is free. There's no monthly subscription, no annual subscription. Perhaps you've already registered for the portal. And if you've registered for the portal and you're getting this messaging because you are a portal subscriber, but you have not yet set up your trading account, then go through. We've got ample training material inside the portal. All right. We've designed the portal so you can get as much or as little information as you need to make a prudent choice to become an account holder. You do not have to break the bank to become an account holder. Depending on the way that you're funding your account, you could fund your account with as little as 350 euros or Great British pounds or Australian dollars or Canadian dollars, what have you, okay? So as little as 350. There are no maximums, but our system will not be available to the public for a long period of time because we can't scale our system with 10,000 folks or 20,000 folks or what have you. Why? Because we want to get you completely and totally and utterly financially free in the next 3 to 5 years. We hope to produce scores of millionaires, cash millionaires with our system. And in our next training, we're going to take you to a calculator and we're going to look at various scenarios of someone starting off with $350 versus someone that maybe has $1,000 or $10,000. We'll talk about that in our next training. So here's what I want you to do. I'm bringing on our disclaimer king. He's going to go over our disclaimers in just a few moments, okay? If you already have our portal, you'll want to go to the Getting Started tab, assuming that you're ready to start your account. You'll want to go to the Getting Started tab. We walk you through the account process, a little cumbersome, but take the time to do so. Once you've done it once, then you'll be ready to put everything on automatic pilot from there because you never have to do any of the trading. If you don't already have our portal, get our portal. You may be seeing this from one of our training pages where there's an active link to go on and get the portal. You might be seeing this in social media, in which case, get the portal from the person that got you to today's training. All right, we're going to be back in another day, 2 or 3. We're going to walk you through some scenarios with a calculator. You're going to love that, by the way. And then we're going to make sure that inside of our portal that you have access to that calculator. For now, I want you to listen to the disclaimer from our disclaimer king, because as much as we would love this to be available to every single person, there are some jurisdictions that our system is not going to be available to folks in that jurisdiction. So I need to make sure that you understand that and that we take care of all of our legalese. We're going to be back in another day, 2 or 3. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours, and let's get you completely and totally and utterly financially free in the next 3 to 5 years. Here is the Disclaimer King.
Welcome. I am your Disclaimer King. Please pay attention to this very important disclaimer. While our system is designed to get you completely and totally and utterly financially free in the next 3 to 5 years, trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The high degree of leverage can work for you, but can also work against you. Before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all of the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Today's training will introduce a fully automated 100% hands-free Forex managed account. This is referred to as a PAMM account. While the system is automated and 100% hands-free for you, it is manned by real Forex traders. This PAMM account is not registered with any US regulator, NFA or CFTC. In turn, products or services in our Forex system are not intended for residents of the United States. Information and services through our website and training are accessible worldwide. However, it's not directed at residents in any country or jurisdiction where distribution or use would be contrary to local laws or regulations. The responsibility is on the individual or entity to seek professional advice with local laws or regulation based on residency or jurisdiction of that individual or entity. Now, back to my training partner for today's training. Happy trading!